One of the biggest aviation mysteries in the world is Flight MH370. This Malaysia Airlines aircraft vanished on March 8, 2014, leaving behind unanswered questions, widespread speculation, and heartbroken families. However, after years of uncertainty, a shocking discovery has emerged. A recently uncovered signal may finally provide the key to solving this long-standing riddle. What exactly did the researchers uncover, and how does this new information impact the current investigation? Stay tuned, you're about to find out. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, or MH370, was a Boeing 777-200ER en route from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia to Beijing, China. On board were 239 people from 15 different nations, including passengers and crew. What began as an ordinary red-eye flight turned into an unsolved mystery when the aircraft disappeared from radar just 40 minutes after takeoff. MH370 departed Kuala Lumpur at 12:41 a.m. local time, scheduled to arrive in Beijing at 6:30 a.m. Shortly before leaving Malaysian airspace, the pilot transmitted a final message to Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control saying, "Good night, Malaysian 370." However, the aircraft failed to make contact with air traffic controllers in Ho Chi Minh City upon entering Vietnamese airspace, and then vanished from radar screens. No distress call or emergency transmission was received, just silence. Air traffic controllers lost all communication with the aircraft, which seemed to disappear without a trace. With no further radar signals to follow, investigators turned to satellite data. These pings suggested that the aircraft remained airborne for several hours after disappearing from radar, but they did not provide precise coordinates. Instead, the data indicated two possible arcs along which the plane might have traveled, one northward into Central Asia and the other southward into the remote Indian Ocean. On March 24, 2014, 17 days after the plane disappeared, Malaysia's Prime Minister announced that, based on the Inmarsat data, the government concluded the plane had crashed in a remote part of the Indian Ocean, leaving no survivors. Because MH370 was registered in Malaysia, the Malaysian government led the investigation. However, at its request, the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, or ATSB, oversaw the search efforts. According to an ATSB report, the search began on March 17, 2014. A global operation involving dozens of aircraft and ships was launched to scan the South China Sea and the southern Indian Ocean. The first confirmed piece of wreckage was found on July 29, 2015. 3 of the 27 fragments were conclusively identified as belonging to Flight 370, while 17 others were highly likely to be from the missing plane. With no clear answers, rumors and conspiracy theories about MH370's fate began to circulate. Some speculated that the aircraft was hijacked for political reasons, while others suggested mechanical failure, an onboard fire, or even a missile strike. One of the most widely debated theories was that the captain deliberately diverted the plane to commit. Investigators discovered that he had programmed a similar flight path on his home flight simulator, but this evidence alone was not enough to prove a malicious intent. Furthermore, there were no distress signals, ransom demands, severe weather conditions, or signs of mechanical failure. In January 2017, the Malaysian, Chinese, and Australian governments officially suspended the search for MH370. Later that year, the Malaysian government allowed the US-based company Ocean Infinity to continue the search under a no-find, no-fee arrangement. The Malaysian government released its final report on the disappearance of Flight MH370 in July 2018. Investigators concluded that mechanical failure was highly unlikely and that human intervention was the most probable cause of the plane's deviation from its intended flight path. After 1,046 days and millions of dollars spent, the investigation came to an end on July 17, 2018, without ever solving the mystery. But is the mystery of what happened to aircraft MH370 any closer to being solved after 10 years? Or at least has the riddle of where the plane's wreckage might be located come any closer to resolution? After nearly a decade, a glimmer of hope has emerged as researchers from Cardiff University work to pinpoint the final resting place of the missing Malaysia Airlines flight. Surprising, right? Richard Godfrey, a British engineer, has been deeply involved in the plane's search operations. His innovative discovery, published in 2021, introduced a new way to track the aircraft's final position, using a method called the Weak Signal Propagation Reporter, or WSPR. Godfrey claimed he traced WSPR data to the time frame of MH370's disappearance and estimated that the aircraft might lie between 3,000 and 4,000 meters below the Indian Ocean, roughly 1,500 kilometers off the coast of Perth, Australia. "I certainly believe MH370 can be found," he stated, adding that his findings align with other indicators, such as data provided by Inmarsat, which pointed to a similar location. Thomas from Airline Ratings shared his thoughts, expressing, "I have a strong feeling that Godfrey is right, but it makes me uncomfortable." He criticized Malaysian officials, saying, "I'm concerned that they're just offering warm, comforting speeches to the relatives on the anniversary." Years after the initial investigation concluded, Godfrey remarked, "We've identified a weak signal that may be from the aircraft. This is the first promising lead we've had in years." The Cardiff researchers examined data from hydrophones, underwater microphones that detected a 6-second signal around the time the plane is believed to have crashed into the Indian Ocean after running out of fuel. In previous instances, hydroacoustic stations have captured unique pressure signals from plane crashes and earthquakes occurring nearly 3,000 miles away. There is reason to believe that a 200-ton aircraft falling at 200 meters per second could release enough kinetic energy to resemble a small earthquake. Such an event would be large enough to be detected by hydrophones thousands of kilometers away. 2 hydroacoustic stations are positioned to capture such signals, one near Cape Leuven, Western Australia, and the other in Diego Garcia, a British territory in the Indian Ocean. Both stations were operational at the time MH370 is believed to have crashed. In their analysis, Cardiff University researchers identified one signal that matches the estimated crash time of March 8th. This signal was recorded at the Cape Leuven station, but was not detected by the Diego Garcia station, raising further questions about its origin. Dr. Usama Kadri, a reader in applied mathematics, explained, "Unfortunately, we have yet to find a signal with the certainty required to launch a renewed search effort. However, if the right authorities act on these recommendations, we could analyze the detected signals further, potentially revealing the precise location of MH370. Though Godfrey's research has renewed hope that MH370 may finally be found, continued funding and international cooperation are essential to advance the search. So far, no new formal investigation has been launched, though the Australian Transport Safety Bureau and other agencies have expressed interest in the findings. During a recent visit to Australia, Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim addressed the media saying, "This is a matter that affects lives, and whatever needs to be done must be done." While these discoveries offer some closure to the families of the 239 passengers and crew, the new information is also deeply unsettling. The lingering question remains, will the full truth of MH370 ever come to light? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to stay in the loop with more amazing content on our channel.